Okay. New Marvel versus DC research reveals some surprising heroes and supervillains. It's entirely possible that you don't have any time for more Marvel versus DC fandom tussles. Well, not being that big into comics, I never got into that in the first place, I suppose. Although I will say that as far as, I mean, I realize that Spider-Man is like really, really popular, but honestly, um, I was as more of like, what would you say, a normie or whatever when it comes to comics, um, or comic book characters rather, because it's like I didn't read the comics for the most part. I read a handful, and that's it. Um, but I obviously watched like the TV shows and stuff, the cartoons that growing up, and I mean, yeah, Spider Man was definitely there, and so was the X Men, obviously. But overall, it was more DC stuff. So I don't know. Really liked the '90s X Men cartoon and the '90s Spider Man cartoon, and was '80s or '70s, one or the other. There was a Spider Man cartoon of some sort, and I did watch that as well when I was quite young. I don't like I said I don't know whether it was like a rerun from the '70s or whether it was actually from the '80s. Whatever. And I know I watched was it the Super Friends or whatever, and I don't know whether that was. I think that was like reruns that I saw of that. But anyway, it's a bunch of them that I watched when I was real little. And obviously, you got your. I never watched okay, I watched the Incredible Hulk live action TV show, some, but never watched the Spider-Man live action TV show that was on in the '70s or whatever. Um, never watched that even in reruns. But I did watch Wonder Woman, Linda Carter, watch that, and of course the Superman and Supergirl movies and stuff. Anyway, it just there was definitely Marvel stuff, but it was kind of for me it was always kind of tilted more towards the DC characters as far as what I experienced as a non-comic book reader growing up. Um, all right, but research commissioned by Game, okay, not the UK retailer, okay. That's why I haven't heard it. Has produced some surprising results. Captain America, for example, is not the most popular superhero in the United States of America. I'm really not surprised about that, to be honest. But he is in Canada. Australia, too. Interesting. Um, who's most popular in the U.S.? That's Spider-Man. The most popular superheroes around the world. Spider-Man in 57 countries, Wonder Woman in 15, Batman, yeah, 89 Batman. That was so cool. Being a kid when that came out. 11 countries. Iron Man in 10, Superman in 6. Wow, Superman's not, I would have thought he'd be a little bit more popular than that. Only 6 countries. Um, Captain America 4, Aquaman 4, Hulk 3, Wanda 2, and Groot in 1 country. I wonder which country. I'm freaking blind. Well, and it's also really small pictures. I can't tell which country. I don't see the Groot thing, so I don't know which country it is that has Groot as the most popular. Um, Worldwide, Spider-Man is a favorite in most countries, coming ahead in 57 locations. Wanda the Scarlet Witch is top in 2 and Groot in 1. I think the supervillain map of the world is even more interesting and Russia, parts of Europe, and Asia certainly look intimidating with Venom's hungry snarl. Okay, Thanos Thanos in 66 countries. I'm sorry. I like I had never even heard of that. I mean, obviously, like I said, a little bit more tilted towards DC, and therefore, knew something about Darkseid since I was real little. But Thanos, I had never ever fucking heard of until the MCU introduced him. and I mean, he's not. He's kind of a good character in that he, you know, I mean, he believes in his motivations, but at the same time, it's like his motivations are really fucking stupid. It's like I mean, he's supposed to come from some advanced civilization or whatever, right? It's like, how can you be so dumb, you know, to make such a fucking mistake, man? It's just I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense. Um, Maybe I'll do a video on that at some point. Why Thanos is stupid. Although I'm sure there are plenty of videos out there already that explain that. Joker in 21 countries, including the U.S. Apparently, I can believe that. Venom in 16. What the what? Im im implate? What the fuck is that? I have no idea what that is. 11 countries. Um, that is a character I've never heard of. Ultron in 2 countries. Catwoman in 2 countries. And Dakin. That's another one I've never heard of in 1 country. Oh, Catwoman's popular in Japan. Catwoman's big in Japan. All right, well, good for her. Popular villain. Who would I go for out of that? Well, who would I go for out of this list? Personally, I gotta admit, based on having seen what I'm pretty sure was fairly true to the comics, the Spider-Man animated series from the '90s, I'd say the Spider-Man. He's uh, he's the only one. I mean, like all of these are, well, not all of them, but most of them are like Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, Groot, Wanda. Those are all Marvel, right? I'm not really all that into any of them except for their MCU, I guess, versions, and even then, uh, gonna be mostly Iron Man and Captain America, I guess, and really probably mostly Iron Man. Um, but as far as like before pre MCU or pre, all these latest movies and shit, Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman would all three have been, you know, major, you know, of major interest to me personally. And then here it's like I said, Thanos, never even heard of him until, and I still haven't heard of that until now, I guess, but I still don't know anything about it, and don't know anything about that either. So it's just, it's like, and Ultron, it's like I never thought much of, again, never heard of Ultron until he was introduced in the MCU. But obviously, Joker, Venom, and Catwoman, I was familiar with all three of them, basically my whole life. Um, Thanos is top. Weird. Favu right. We're doing well. It is a British company, right? So, um, in an impressive 66 countries, it's tempting to credit a certain movie franchise for the Mad Titans' dominance here in the UK and in the United States. The Joker comes top. The Mutant Implate? Never heard of him. Ranks highly too. How? I've never heard of this character. What the fuck? Does Marvel know this dimension hopping vampire is the most popular baddie in 11 countries? Wolverine's evil son, Dakin, is top in 1. Okay. Do companies battle for popularity in the United States as well? Marvel coming ahead in 28 of them, DC in 22. Marvel versus DC, the most popular franchise by state. All right, well, Marvel takes California while DC takes New York. And Marvel in Florida, DC in Texas, and Louisiana. And no. That doesn't, I mean, Marvel in West Virginia. With some potentially notable exceptions there. I don't know. I don't know. That's kind of weird, isn't it? It's not about it's not among party lines, is it? Uh, hmm. Interesting. Marvel's lead is even more decisive worldwide, claiming the top spot in 51 countries, with only 9 favoring DC. Wow. With others undecided or simply lacking the data. Damn. Chile likes DC, and I'm not even sure what country that is. It's not Ethiopia, is it? I think it's. Is it? I don't know. I don't think so, but it could be. And then what is that? Is that the fuck is that? Belgium? I can't tell. China likes DC. Japan likes DC. Russia likes DC. Cool. Cool. Marvel's #1 practically everywhere. Well, it must be admitted, Marvel has, as far as marketing and whatnot, has handled themselves so much better. I really do believe that DC's characters, though, in many respects, are more iconic, or at least more of them are more iconic. Marvel's kind of, like the whole Iron Man thing. It's like I knew that Iron Man existed before the Iron Man movies, but to the best of my knowledge, it was never particularly, and Gary from Nerdrotic knows more about this, obviously, and as a lifelong comic book fan. And I do believe that I've heard him talk about how, yeah, Iron Man was really not particularly popular character or anything. And then they did the Iron Man movies, and now Iron Man is like one of the most popular one of the big characters. It was never a big character before. Now it's a big character. But anyway, like I said, to me, the DC, especially the major DC heroes, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, were always more iconic. It's like Marvel had more characters, or seemingly, and there certainly were a lot of them that were very cool, but at the same time, it's like, the X-Men were really cool, but were any of the X-Men, apart from maybe Wolverine, especially iconic? Not really. And then obviously Spider-Man, and to a certain extent the Incredible Hulk, although nothing like he's become in modern times. But anyway, I don't know. The methodology is one we're familiar with. Search frequency was used, and the search volume used as a proxy by popularity. The more a country searches for any superhero or villain, the more popular game and their team concluded the character was. Okay, so that's potentially misleading. I mean, it's not like this is a poll. It's not even I don't know. I mean, I don't know whether look, an actual poll that samples things, it's only going to be a sample, and so there's always margin for error there. But this kind of way of doing it seems like it'd have definite margin for error as well, because just because people are searching for it doesn't mean that they really like that one. I mean, probably, but you don't know that for sure. Be interesting if you get like a significant number of people from all these countries to vote online or something, and say which is their favorite. But still, it's interesting. It's interesting to see this. Anyway, But I'm not. Well, I'm not sure how surprising a lot of it is. Some of it probably is that Batman in is that Finland? Batman's really popular in Finland apparently, and Spain. I don't know. Spain, I can kind of see Spain because you know I don't know. Just I don't know. I mean, Batman's not Spanish, but I don't know. Somehow he seems to fit to fit somehow with with Spain. Um. Anyway, I just thought it was an interesting little article to take a look at there. I don't know. It's fascinating to me. Uh, some of it is fascinating. Some of it's kind of like, oh well, I expected that. Wonder why do we why do we know that China likes DC, but we don't know which supervillain or which superhero they like? Hmm. Oh well. All right. Until the next one.